If you need people to like you will never be respected. And the more you try, the weaker you become. This is uncomfortable to hear, but it's the truth most people spend their entire lives avoiding. From a young age, we're taught that being liked is safety. Approval means belonging. Disapproval feels like danger. So we learn to adapt. We soften our opinions. We hide our edges. We become agreeable, polite, and emotionally available on demand. At first, it feels like maturity. But slowly, something breaks. When you start shaping yourself around other people's comfort, you stop living from principle and start living from reaction. You don't speak when something feels wrong. You don't draw clear boundaries. You hesitate. You over-explain. You apologize for things that don't require apology. And the world notices. People don't consciously think, this person is weak. They feel it. They sense uncertainty. They sense the need for approval. They sense that your behavior can be influenced. And once that happens, respect disappears. Because respect is built on consistency, not kindness. When you try to be liked, you become flexible in the wrong way. Your values shift depending on who you're talking to. Your tone changes. Your standards drop. You say yes to avoid tension, even when saying no would protect you. That sends a message. I will move if you pressure me. And pressure always follows. This is why people who are universally liked are rarely taken seriously. They are pleasant, but not solid. Safe, but not strong. Easy to be around, but easy to ignore. Authority doesn't come from emotional warmth. It comes from inner stability. Strong individuals don't chase approval because they don't need external confirmation to exist. Their sense of self is internal. They can sit in silence. They can tolerate disagreement. They can let others misunderstand them without rushing to explain. Trying to be liked makes you dependent. Dependent people are predictable. Predictable people are controllable. And control is the opposite of authority. The people with the strongest presence in any room aren't the loudest or the friendliest. They are the ones who don't adjust themselves to be accepted. They stay still while others adapt around them. They don't need to be liked. And because of that, they are respected. Human beings don't respect comfort. They respect certainty. This is something most people never realize, because on the surface, it looks backwards. We assume that if we're nice, understanding, and agreeable, people will value us more. But psychologically, the opposite happens. When someone is always accommodating, the brain categorizes them as non-threatening, and what is non-threatening is not taken seriously. Respect is not an emotional response, it's a structural one. People respect those who stand on something solid, even if they disagree with it. When you are willing to be disliked, you signal something powerful. I am not negotiating my identity. That signal changes the dynamic immediately. Think about the people you instinctively listen to. It's rarely the most likable person in the room. It's the one who speaks less, but with precision. The one who doesn't rush to fill silence. The one who doesn't explain themselves repeatedly. Why? Because silence combined with clarity creates gravity. People who fear being disliked constantly leak information. They justify. They soften statements. They add emotional padding to avoid tension. And every extra word weakens their position. Strong individuals do the opposite. They say less. They accept friction. They allow others to feel uncomfortable. And that discomfort creates hierarchy. Not because they dominate, but because they don't collapse under pressure. When someone challenges them, they don't rush to defend their ego. They don't raise their voice. They don't chase validation. They let the moment hang. That pause alone communicates strength. Most people can't tolerate that pause. They rush to fix it, to explain, to smooth things over. And whoever rushes first loses leverage. Being willing to be disliked doesn't mean being rude or aggressive. It means being rooted, calm, unmoved. It means you can disappoint people without feeling guilty. It means you can say no without adding an essay. It means you can walk away without needing the last word. That ability rewires how others perceive you. They stop testing you. They stop pushing boundaries. They adjust themselves instead. Because deep down, People trust those who don't need approval. Approval seeking feels unstable. Independence feels safe. The paradox is simple. The moment you stop trying to be liked, people start taking you seriously. Not because you changed them, but because you finally stopped changing yourself. Leadership collapses the moment approval becomes the goal. Not because leaders shouldn't care about people, but because leadership and approval move in opposite directions. A leader makes decisions before they are accepted. Approval comes after, if it comes at all. The problem with trying to be liked is that it forces you to outsource your judgment. Every decision passes through one filter first. How will this make me look? And once that filter is active, clarity disappears. You start delaying choices. You soften boundaries. You avoid conflict even when conflict is necessary. People feel that hesitation immediately. They may not articulate it, but they sense it. And when people sense uncertainty, they don't follow, they observe. Approval-seeking leaders don't create direction. They react to the room. They watch facial expressions. They adjust mid-sentence. They over-explain to reduce tension. That behavior signals one thing: lack of internal authority. And without internal authority, external authority never sticks. Strong leaders are not liked first. They are trusted first. Trust is built when people know where you stand, even when they don't like it. When you change your position to keep the peace, you teach others something dangerous. Your boundaries are negotiable. And once people learn that, they will keep negotiating. This is why approval-seeking leaders end up exhausted. They are constantly managing emotions that aren't theirs. They confuse harmony with respect, but harmony without structure is chaos. Real leadership introduces friction. It forces choices. It draws lines. That friction makes people uncomfortable in the short term, but secure in the long term. Because uncertainty is more stressful than disagreement. People would rather disagree with someone consistent than agree with someone unstable. This is why the calmest leaders often say the least. They don't need to sell every decision. They don't need to defend every move. Their consistency does the talking. They are willing to be misunderstood. They are willing to be questioned. They are willing to be disliked. And paradoxically, that willingness creates authority. Because when you are not trying to control how people feel about you, you gain control over direction. The moment you stop chasing approval, your words gain weight. Your silence gains meaning. Your presence gains impact. Leadership doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being clear and staying there when others get uncomfortable. The need to be liked doesn't disappear overnight. It fades when you stop feeding it. Most people think confidence is about believing in yourself more. It's not. Confidence is about needing others less. The shift begins when you stop explaining yourself to be understood. When you stop correcting every misunderstanding. When you stop trying to manage how people feel about your decisions. At first, this feels uncomfortable. Silence feels like risk. Disapproval feels like loss. But that discomfort is not weakness. It's withdrawal. You are withdrawing from dependency. Every time you choose not to over-explain, you regain ground. Every time you allow silence instead of filling it, your presence deepens. Every time you say no without guilt, your identity strengthens. Quiet authority is not built through dominance. It's built through self-trust. People with quiet authority don't chase reactions. They don't posture. They don't prove. They act, and they let the outcome speak. They understand something most people miss. Respect is not requested. It's observed. When you stop trying to be liked, your behavior becomes consistent. You no longer perform for approval. You move from principle. And consistency creates predictability, not in behavior, but in values. Others begin to feel that stability. They don't always agree with you. They don't always like you, but they trust you. And trust is stronger than approval. The world is full of people who are liked and ignored. It has very few people who are respected and followed. The difference is not personality. It's orientation. Approval-seeking looks outward. Authority looks inward. When you shift that orientation, everything changes. Your words slow down, your posture settles, your reactions soften. You no longer rush to fix tension, you allow it to resolve itself. That stillness is power. Not loud power, not aggressive power, quiet power, the kind that doesn't need permission.